Hello, and we say a good day to each and every one of you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council. We speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance of many different guides and beings supporting your planet in this process that you may call evolution, you may call ascension. It is a sort of collective awakening taking place, and we together guide many planets through this process remotely and allow for harmony to flow through those who would like this experience to take place. We come to support you, and also it is a gift for us because as we get to experience your world, it allows us to experience more of all that is, thus deepening in our connection to Source. And for this we extend our great gratitude and thanks. So we will share an introduction to some of our ideas before we allow you to ask whatever you'd like. And the basic premise is something that we call the formula. This is a teaching that is not unique to our world or us as channeled beings. There are others who give you this principle. It is a simple way that you can accelerate your process of awakening and return into a positive state regardless of what you are currently experiencing. The basis of this idea, first of all, is that this entire universe is built with unconditional love. The intention of the one creator or source is unconditional love. When you go beyond physical reality, this unconditional love is all there really is. As souls come to incarnate into density, you are given the gift that sometimes doesn't seem like a gift, of the distortion of duality and the distortion of time. Duality gives you contrasting experiences of positive and negative, dark and night, summer and winter, day and night. And these contrasting experiences, more than anything else, allow you to understand that you have the power of choice. Choice gives you free will in a world that many things are also caused by fate. And this seeming duality is what allows for soul evolution to take place. Thus, you are always making choices, though you don't necessarily understand what choices you are making and why. And this formula allows you to recognize the choice innately in every moment and direct your choice to the highest potential outcome while releasing an energy of insistence. This will accelerate the engine of awakening. So the formula is to act upon your highest love, passion, or excitement to the best of your ability without insisting on any particular outcome. And there's three parts to this. They're all equally important. The first is to act upon your highest love or passion. This is an energy that you will feel in the center of your being. This heart of yours is the receiving antenna for energies that come from your own higher self, you could say. This higher self is your individual soul connection with the source. And as that source is unconditional love, when you are experiencing energies that resonate with that feel like love, that is a sign that you are being guided by Source in that moment. And as you attune yourself to make choices that are aligned with that feeling of love, you attune your whole being to that vibration. You allow for your energy field to resonate with that. And as reality doesn't necessarily exist on its own, it is interwoven with your being. As you resonate these positive frequencies, positive experiences are certainly due to manifest. This frequency of love also allows for stress, anxiety, and fear to dissolve from your being, for these are energies that distort and hold you back from seeing everything that is before you and in front of you. So, acting on your highest passion or love is not something that means having a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or even a plan for tomorrow. It can lead to that, but it's best expressed here and now in the present moment. And this formula means that if you do have such a thing as a 5-year plan and tomorrow your feeling changes about it, that you have no insistence, you let go and you allow yourself to be redirected. Because all of these concepts of having to plan for the future and plan for this and plan for that are much generated by your mind. They are based upon concepts of what you think you have to do that often disconnect you from this heart level experience that is always centered in unconditional love. So in every single moment, when you see all of the options before you, which of those options resonates most with that feeling of love? Which of them do you feel viscerally as a sensation of expansion, warmthness, or openness, or the release of tension from your chest that spreads through your body? Make that choice. Follow that path. There still might be some fear or resistance present, but you will know that that feeling generates the most expansive feeling in your heart, then therefore the action associated is the best pathway to take. So step 2 of the formula is to do it to the best of your ability. And this is the most simple to understand part. It means do your best. It means don't give up. It means apply all of your intelligence and use all of the resources within you and outside of you to carry this action out in the best way that you can. It means to keep your eyes open, and it means to be willing to ask for help, because there are others who can support you in the ways that you might not necessarily be able to completely master or carry through this thing that excites you the most. So it means to be open. And yes, simply do your best. The last part is to release all insistence on the outcome. It means to have what many of you understand as non-attachment. It means that you are willing to accept when your expectations are not fulfilled. But it does not mean to not have expectations, because it is impossible not to have expectations. Every day you expect certain things to happen. It's a part of your life. And your expectations set you up to take the right actions at the right time. They help you to plan the ways that you have to plan. But it is your attachment to these expectations that robs you of the joy in the moment. And this feeling of love and passion is literally guiding you to all of the experiences and opportunities that would serve your soul growth more than anything else. Though sometimes Source works in indirect ways. Sometimes you think you are going to one destination and Source gives you this feeling of love, which is your intuitive guide to head out. Yet all of a sudden there's a crossroad that you come to, and this feeling of love and passion in your heart guides you to take a turn that you weren't expecting to go. And when you get to your new destination, you find that there's a greater treasure that you discover that you didn't know you were heading towards in the first place. But if you get very attached to the plan and your presumed trajectory that you start off your journey with, you won't be able to see those forks in the road, and you won't be able to see all of the opportunities that you attract to yourself along the way. It also means that you let go of all of these definitions that you have been conditioned to see the world through, of good and bad, and of right and wrong, of success and failure. And this success and failure is one of the biggest ones you have to overcome, because you often fail to recognize that you will fail thousands of times before you meet your expectations in the way that you assume they should be met. And every time you fail, you learn lessons that set you up to move in the direction of what you really would love to experience. And without these lessons, you would never have been able to get there. So this life is a journey of growth, a journey of coming to gradually understand. And when you accept your lessons and you are willing to use all experiences that you don't prefer as lessons, you will drop your resistance and move in the direction of what you truly need and love quicker, without anything holding you back. So it's simply accept what happens, and not only accept it, but find reasons to celebrate it. Find reasons to see it as a good thing, because there's always a positive use, even for negative circumstances. And you will perpetually, forever, be in a positive experience when you learn how to use everything that is in some way negative as a positive learning experience, as a positive means to continue acting upon what you love to do and letting that frequency of love guide you. What is the purpose of all of this? The purpose is to be who you are. All of you are the one source. We have some universal laws that you can listen to in our other transmissions. We won't talk about them today because we have other things we'd like to share. But the most important one to recognize is that all is one, and the one is in all. So this one creator source is present in all of creation, and you are that source. You come into this dimension of physical reality which distorts that innate knowing of self as source. It creates illusionary barriers, and you get to enjoy the experience of dissolving these barriers bit by bit, allowing that awareness that you are unconditional love to inundate your being gradually with time. And as you do this, you will dissolve all of those negative experiences. It is a process. It takes time. So the purpose of this existence is to be who you are, and that is to be source. And it is to be exactly the unique being that you are. For every being is a unique expression of source, unlike any other. And your passion or your love is what guides you to be that perfect embodiment of source. The purpose of your life isn't to accumulate a whole bunch of things and then give them to the next generation. The purpose of your life isn't to prove to your neighbors how great you were. The purpose of your life isn't to enjoy all of the sensory experiences and that alone. Some of you have conceived that the purpose of your life is all of these things, but you can enjoy all of it, and you can achieve all of it, and you can manifest all of it. But what you're actually here to do is be love. And this formula is what guides you to do that. So we will add a final little note today before we attend to your questions. And this is all negative emotion is one certain manifestation of fear that is a distortion to this unconditional love. These emotions serve a purpose for you, actually. These emotions are there to support you in transforming your experience and moving through your life in healthy ways. These emotions guide you how to respond to other people and how to respond to events. Though many of you get to an experience where certain negative emotions become your default state. They are always in your face and in your body and sort of sabotaging your every step. So why this happens is because you start to suppress these emotions, and in suppressing them, you develop negative beliefs about yourself. Some of these negative beliefs are taught to you in your childhood by your parents and your schools, and are learned through traumatic experiences that you have that lead you to jump to negative conclusions about who you are. And as you learn these things, these emotions become stuck in your body. So there's a way to use these emotions in a positive way. And we will talk a bit about the three general classes of negative emotion. All unique expressions of negative emotion fall into one of these three categories. And all of these are a level of fear. And fear is a false evidence appearing real. It is a lie constructed in your mind. So the first would be emotions of anger. Anger is the emotion of protection. You might feel anger in moments in which you're threatened. For example, in times long ago, before humans developed in a modern way, when you could experience the threat of animals or something attacking you. Anger is an extreme expression of fear that gives you rushes of adrenaline that allow you to fight back and develop a certain superhuman strength. So whenever you are feeling anger, it's an attempt to protect yourself. And thus, anger that you express in a healthy way creates healthy boundaries with others. When you continue to suppress anger, you also suppress your own power. You don't allow yourself to set up the healthy parameters for engagement that bring you to feel as if you are honoring yourself. So, learning to work with this emotion of protection involves then being able to stand up for yourself and say what feels right for you and what doesn't. It means to not allow other people to drain you of energy because you feel anger because you are on some level feeling threatened by them. If you suppress the anger, you continue to engage in this sort of parasitic way. Having a healthy relationship with anger also means that you recognize that sometimes the threat that you are experiencing is imagined. So sometimes you experience perpetual anger based on an illusion. And in other moments, in other situations, you will have to recognize that what you imagine to be threatening isn't actually there, isn't actually real. The next category of these emotions would be sadness. Sadness is the healing emotion. You feel this particular flavor of frequency as a way to release and restore and rest. This emotion guides you into a deep level of self-compassion. Whenever you are feeling some level of sadness, it's because you are restricting yourself from a level of love, because you don't believe that love is to be yours, or you are believing that in order to experience love, you need to recover your connection to whatever has been lost. And so for this emotion, you have to return your awareness to the universal love. You may have experienced love through moments of the past, but the past is no longer here in this moment. It exists in the eternal now, but in the present, you cannot recreate that experience, but you can recover that sense of unconditional love by letting go of your attachment to that one source that you thought the love had to come to you from. You release this emotion and transform it into deep unconditional love by allowing yourself to be present with it and allowing yourself to turn this love back onto yourself. The last category is the emotion of anxiety. And this emotion has everything to do with the attachment to the outcome and the insistence on getting what you think you need. When you are feeling something caused by this anxiety, you have to accept the present moment reality. And you have to learn how to release what you think needs to happen. Allow yourself to take space. Allow your grip to loosen. Allow for that space to guide you into moments of complete surrender. When you attach to the outcome, you inevitably push it further away from yourself. What you desire could be yours, but when you create such a pent-up energy and think that it is your only source of love, happiness, or salvation, you often repel it with your energy. So mastering this emotion has everything to do with learning how to attract to you the situations that you prefer rather than grasping for them. Knowing that everything will come towards you if you don't force yourself to hold on to it. And by recognizing that all of these emotions are there to show you, either to stand up for yourself, to turn love onto yourself, and recognize that you are the love you seek, or by letting go of your clinging to the outside world and recognizing what you need is within you, you will be able to find peace and find centeredness in every moment and fall back into that remembrance that you are your source. And if you are your source, all of this play and this expansion that you experience by moving in the direction of what you love is just a game. It's a way to expand, but you allow yourself to, in a sense, transcend it while being within it. And that love of source floods through your body and reminds you that you can enjoy this realm while still being connected to something that is far beyond. And as you live in that way, both in this world and in connection with the spirit world, your connection with guides and subtle energies, your ancestors and those who have departed, with the spirits of nature and a world of living light around you will open up, and you will never feel alone ever again. If you choose that experience, it is there and available for all of you to enjoy and to celebrate and to use together to transform your world into a place where none of these fear-based emotions manifest at a collective level. But in order for you to get there, you have to learn how to defeat and overcome and transmute these emotions into love on a personal level. And this is essentially why we are here, to teach this to your world. For as your world transforms, all that is, and this entire galaxy transforms, and this is a gift to us and all other beings that inhabit this vast universe and even multiverse. So we thank you for allowing us to share this message and allowing us to get the experience of meeting you. And now we ask, in which ways could we be of service to you with any questions, comments, or sharings that you may have today? not all at once.
Can you tell us something about self-love?
Yes. Self-love is really a remembrance. It is remembering that you come from love and your origin is love. You were birthed from love and your very existence is love itself. So it's less of a doing onto yourself and more of a remembering within yourself that you are love. And it involves, yes, actions of guiding yourself to whatever you love to do. Because the more you experience love, the more you will be able to return to that state, and the more you will be able to direct that towards yourself. And of course, you can also go in a more active pursuit of confronting which beliefs become obstacles to love. This is called by many in your world shadow work. So when you experience a negative emotion, or in relation to this question of self-love, when you feel shame or guilt or any sense of negativity about yourself, ask yourself this question: what am I believing about myself to be true that is causing me to feel this particular way? And we would encourage that you write it down and see how much you can produce. How far can you go? Then when you get to basic core level thoughts, like, I am unintelligent, write the opposite thought next to it: I am intelligent. And then start to write a list of evidence that supports the fact that you are intelligent. You perhaps have managed many sorts of challenging experiences in your life. If you really look, there's more evidence to support the positive thought than there is to support the negative thought, because so many of these negative things aren't inherently true. And by allowing yourself to transform some of these negative beliefs about yourself, self-love will be a more predominant experience. Now, also, you can do this at a more subtle energetic level as well. You don't have to go into the story if you don't want to. Simply being present with where this feeling of tension exists within your body and breathing an energy of love into it will dissolve it. So you can do that even in this moment, as you listen if you'd like, of asking yourself to show you, where does this fear and resistance live within inside of me? And feel within your body. Is there an area of tension? Is there sort of a dark color in my imagination in this area of tension? And breathe light that expands from your heart through your whole body into this area of tension. Simply witnessing it without trying to change it, without judging it, without focusing on any of the thoughts at all, but purely on the level of sensation. So energy works as above, so below. Some of you will find that working at the very mental level we described with journaling is what will help you the most, and others will find that this pure approach of meditation and subtle energy will help you the most. It's good to be able to do both of them, but again, what is going to be the fuel for the engine in actually transforming is recognizing what you actually love to do and choosing to do it. Because if you choose to be on some level of mediocrity, doing things that don't really light up your passion and don't really feel fulfilling to you, you won't actually come face to face with your resistance, because you will be letting your resistance unconsciously guide you. So you have to step up into the vibration of love, and when you do that, it's like turning on the lights in a very dark room. When you turn on the lights, all of the demons, if you call them that, will present themselves to you. But until you turn on the light of your love, you won't be able to know where to look for the areas of resistance that might be diminishing your self-love. Oh yes, I think you as well.
Are there certain categories for emotions? You were talking about sadness, anxiety, and anger
Yes.
previously, and now shame and guilt as being in the way of self-love. Can you talk a little bit about those?
So, the emotions we described as anger, sadness, and anxiety are true emotions. They are real emotions that guide you through your experience of life. Shame and guilt are response emotions. They are sort of corrective emotions that are there for when you have made a mistake and have caused harm. These are the only moments in which you should feel these emotions. And when you respond and correct the harm you have caused by either apologizing and taking some level of corrective action, then shame and guilt ought to resolve. So when you have chronic levels of shame and guilt, it is the result of some sort of trauma. And this trauma often has to do with having your authentic self suppressed when you were young. It could involve parents that told you to not expand your love and passion, to not do what you wanted to do, or to not let any of the emotions you are experiencing be expressed. And this could have been emotions of happiness as much as it could have been emotions of anger and sadness. Oftentimes, parents themselves don't know how to deal with emotion because their parents didn't know either. And so they will tell you to just stop feeling what you're feeling. And you will then develop feelings of shame and guilt for feeling any emotion at all. And thus, shame and guilt become the cover emotions that suppress the true emotions that are actually alive within you. And again, this can happen with happiness and joy as well, because happiness and joy is emotion of freedom. It is emotion that creates a sort of uncontrollable expansion. And the mind based in fear that wants to control everything is very much afraid of happiness and joy. So there can even be shame and guilt around joy and silliness. And so when you feel shame and guilt without doing anything, you have to recognize that those emotions are not real at all. They are inauthentic, they are inorganic, they are suppressing what you're actually feeling. And so you have to learn how to sink deeper beneath those feelings. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling that this shame and guilt is covering up? Yes?
How could I help my cousin that is suffering from deep anxiety and it's kind of like urge to always go to the hospital because that's the only place where he feels safe?
Do you know what they are afraid of?
Afraid of of having a panic attack, and it's really like social anxiety, and afraid of just he's afraid of being alone. I feel like he's afraid of everything.
So going to the hospital is a way of meeting some level of need for connection.
Yeah, he goes to the hospital and that's where he's taken care of, and when he leaves then from the hospital he feels okay, but then he have like this anxiety, so he's like, okay, I need to go back to the hospital, and then but they don't want to take care of him anymore because he's always going back, like it's kind of like his safe place is the hospital.
Well, he has to learn to recognize that he can also take care of himself, and that there are other people who can also take care of him. His social fear is a way of keeping himself safe from love. So he needs to come to understand what the attachments are that create this social fear and phobia. For whatever reason, the people in the hospital have become safe zone people, though he has to deconstruct why is everyone else not safe? Why is it not safe to explore and to create connection? Because you are all meant to be, in a sense, tribal, communal beings, and being in connection with other people allows for resonant vibrations or positive emotional energy to rub off on you, to help you regulate yourself. And it is totally possible to entirely self-regulate without having any other people around, though you can't get there from where someone like him is at. So you have to gradually learn that it's okay to let people in, it's okay to regulate energy fields with others. And there might need to be greater levels of support for him from family or from friends or from some kind of community that is able to meet him in his home life, so that he doesn't have to go to such extreme measures to find that feeling of safety.
Thank you.
Yes.
Should you be attached to people like in your family, like people that you really love? Is it good or bad?
Well, that level of what you call attachment is a bit of a different thing. We would call that a bond, and this is healthy. So it's important that you allow love and connection to unite you into families and couples or communities. It doesn't really matter how you choose to form those networks of relationship, but they strengthen bonds, and they also allow for each part of the family to be supported through the love that you share together. So this sort of attachment is normal and natural, and that is not what we mean when we say don't be attached. Now, this does, however, manifest within families as well. For example, if you have a brother who is an addict of some kind, you can have an attachment with this person, meaning that you love them and you feel a bond with them. But if you are attached to the idea of them getting better, then you can end up in a codependent sort of attachment. That is where bonds become an unhealthy attachment. And so you make your well-being dependent on this person's well-being, which you're not in control of. Thus, you go out of your way to support this person in regulating themselves, in recovering from their episodes, and so on and so forth. And when you go back into your own life, you're still worried about what this person is doing with their energy, if they're in a good space and if they're in a bad space. It robs you of feeling authentically connected with your own source. So it is good to have bonds with others, but when you attach to whether or not they are well or not, you can easily become codependent and lose out on your own individual connection to source within you. Yes.
You were mentioning earlier about a collective awakening or a time of collective awakening.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that.
So, in this universe, and particularly in this galaxy, there's cycles of dense energy followed by cycles of high vibration energy and back to dense energy again. Your planet has been through several waves, and your solar system has been through even other waves, where civilizations that were, in a sense, what you consider enlightened and connected with more astral states of experience existed. In your recent times, you have some memory of Atlantis and Lemuria, and there are even prior civilizations, including civilizations on your planets like Mars, that were at a very high point and eventually moved towards devolving. And now your planet is in another cycle of evolving, of raising its frequency. So you're coming from dark ages. And actually, while you have seemed to evolve in so many ways, there is much darkness and delusion on your planet still. So many in your world don't believe in any connection to the source. They live in an experience of pure material focus, where they are very attached to whether or not they are producing or experiencing the profit they seek. There are many who blatantly lie. There are so many ways that fear grips you. And as this takes place, there is a nonetheless gradual awakening towards unconditional love. And actually, you're in a great position to wake up when there is so much delusion around you, because through that immense contrast, when you start to see through it, it becomes all the more real to you what is possible. Though energy is resonant and energy ripples out. So the more that each individual goes beyond their attachment to so many of the fear-based beliefs that keep them bound to pure material existence and fear alone, that energy affects those around that individual. And the more individuals come together with the intention of raising an unconditional love and creating states of peace and harmony, that energy continues to ripple and expand. They've even done studies where individuals can meditate in places where there's crime and war. And on days in which there was a group meditation, there were much less incidences of violence. You can also do this yourself, intending to ripple this energy outward. And you do this all the time, that you continue to raise your own energy in love. There is also many different beings supporting this process in your world. Beings that come to witness your planet's evolution and support and guide that process like ourselves. There was a grand shift that took place in your year of 2012. Your planet entered into a photon belt of highly charged particles that exists within this galaxy, and it accelerated this awakening process. The Mayan calendar knew of this time, and while some thought it would be the end of the world, it's really the shift into greater light. And it's sort of like you've reached a pivot point where the density and the control and the fear gets so intense that it forces many people to wake up from it and see past the illusion. So you're seeing both of these things simultaneously take place. There's a greater constriction of fear for those who choose it, while there is a greater expansion into love for those who are choosing that. And gradually, that energy will ripple out and change the frequency of your planet, and it will allow for the structure of your entire world to change, really.
The time finished.
It is time.
It is time? All right. So, we thank all of you for tuning into this transmission and sharing your questions and sharing yourselves with us today. We will conclude by offering a short meditation to allow you to perhaps tune into some of these higher frequency energies, if you'd like. Closing your eyes, sitting up nice and tall with a straight spine. Taking some deep breaths in and out through your nose. Taking a complete breath in and letting out a sigh. Dropping into your body in this moment. Bring all of your focus into your heart. Within your heart, picture a brilliant star that sends its rays out in all directions. With every breath, see this star grow brighter and brighter. From your heart, picture roots of light that grow from the star down through your body. They go out through the base of your spine and out through the soles of your feet and start to go down into the earth. Picture these roots of light wrap around the roots of many other plants and trees, taking in the energy from the network of plant life around your world. See the roots of light grow even deeper, wrapping around crystals and minerals and metals within your planet. Knowing that your body is composed of so many of the same elements. See the roots grow and go through all of the underground rivers and water sources. Feel the roots grow even deeper and start to connect with the magma beneath the Earth's surface, the Earth's blood, that gradually comes up to create the surface of your world. See the roots grow all the way down to the solid iron core crystal of your planet that is spinning, that is rotating itself and vibrating. It's vibrating and even making a sound. Imagine that your body becomes like a giant ear that can hear that sound. And that your whole body starts to resonate with this frequency of the earth. Visualize an energy that's much like the magma that flows through all of these layers and is pulled up through the roots of light within your body. Feel this volcano-like energy flow in through the soles of your feet and in through the base of your spine, warming up, sending a tingling energy up through your body that travels through your abdomen, your torso, up through your chest and out through your arms into your hands, up through your neck, face, and up to the top of your head. Feeling your whole body resonating with the vibrating heart of the earth. Now with this focus at the top of your head, picture at the crown of your head, there's a strand or a string of light that goes infinitely up and up, up to the center of the galaxy that is a supermassive black hole. Imagine this strand or string of light expand out to surround your entire body. And start to flow through this now grand tube of light, traveling up through the moon, feeling a connection to the silver white light of the moon, traveling up to your sun, the light that gives you all of the energy and brings life to your entire world. From the sun, see a vast web that grows out and through this tube of light spreads through many pathways, all leading back to that galactic center. Flow through these pathways, picturing great branches of stars connected to your sun. Blue and white stars, many places far away. Follow this tube all the way into the center of the galaxy. Imagine going through this supermassive black hole. What would it be like in a supermassive black hole? How would it feel? Flow through it to a single pinpoint of light in its center. And imagine going through that pinpoint and expanding from there into an endless and formless field of white light. This is one of the closest representations we can offer to you symbolically of Source. It can feel like the experience, though it can't fully capture it. Nonetheless, allow this energy to flow from that galactic center through the tube of light, passing through all of the stars, passing through your sun and moon, and flowing like a waterfall into the crown of your head, and washing through every cell, lighting up every cell, filling your whole body with this galactic energy that meets and merges with the earth energy. Allow this energy to travel down your body, down your back, down your arms, down your chest and belly, and out to the tips of your toes. Before finally coming back to rest with your awareness focused in your heart. Now focusing on this feeling in your heart of energy that comes in your crown from above and in your root from below and meets here. Resting here in your heart. Feeling the energy that flows into your heart, then go through your entire body and go outside of your body, creating an egg-shaped sphere of light around you that grows brighter and brighter with each breath, with every cell in your body lighting up and getting brighter and brighter with each breath. And as you rest here, allow any questions you might have to be asked and to be dissolved. So the instantaneous knowing can arise from within your heart. Allow visions, messages to come, noting them without attaching to them. The energy continues to flow in. We'll leave you here for a minute or two. We do hope you may allow this energy of love to guide you, that you may return to this remembrance in your heart, that you are Earth, you are the galaxy. These energies are not just outside of you, they are also within you. You can call upon these energies to remember your greater being, and remember that this feeling in your heart is your intuition, and what guides you to expand in love is a part of the interconnected field of the universe, supporting you in making the connections that would serve the best interests of the universe expanding. We do love you. We extend our gratitude to you once again, and we hope that this has supported you, and you remember, we are always connected. And you can always reach out to us if you would like. So we wish you then a fantastic rest of your day, and we hope to see you another time.